Welcome to another episode of the Goalpost. I'm your host, Oluwamayowa. I'm not alone. I have Solomon making a return. Solomon, good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning, Mayo. Thank you very much for having me on today's show. It's a pleasure being here once again.
Well, if the viewers don't know, Solomon is a huge um, Arsenal fan, and I think Arsenal made him proud yesterday.
Absolutely.
It was the first half. It was a struggle. Arsenal struggling in terms of scoring, and Declan Rice making a mistake. What was Declan Rice thinking, allowing Randa Kulu to get the ball? I would expect in that particular position you'll be clearing the ball out and not keeping and not trying to dribble your way out of problem. But finally, I saw something online. Somebody said he hates Eze so much. Um, Tottenham were trying Tottenham were trying to build, um,
The team around me.
the team around him. However, he dumps Tottenham and decided to go for Arsenal. Before we get into it, what's your quick take on those games? What stood out for you over
I
the
saw
weekend?
that. I saw that video as well yesterday, where Tottenham fan was, hating on Eze so much, but it is what it is, right? I mean, he has scored 6 goals for us now, and 5 of them coming against Tottenham, the team that wanted to get him at first in the summer. And just as you said, fantastic win for Arsenal and a much needed victory considering the draw to Wolves at Molineux. It was much needed that it was a much needed victory. Arsenal needed to win and not just win, and they did it in a statement manner, to stamp their authority on the fact that yes, we can actually go all the way to win the EPL title this season. And Ebenezer error reminds you of Gabriel's error against Bournemouth, right? It was not to be. It was not to be. And I think it was quite intentional that they showed a replay of him, encouraging the fans, urging the fans on right after Eze's first goal. He had to be the one to commit the error. Again, it's an anomaly, right? Which is why I was going to say that Arsenal is the team that can stop themselves from winning the EPL this season. The quality that this team has, it's beautiful to see, to be honest, right? And you don't have to be an Arsenal supporter to be able to see the quality that this team. Look at the match against Inter Milan in the UEFA Champions League. It was a heavily rotated team, right? And you've seen it consistently throughout the season how much quality that is bring to the table. And let's talk about Gyökeres for a minute. What a beautiful performance from Gyökeres. Probably, not even probably, his best performance ever in an Arsenal shirt. The way he was able to hold up play. Even Eze's first goal, if you watch Eze's first goal carefully, you see that Gyökeres was holding up 2 defenders, allowing Eze the chance to be able to shoot the ball. And that's what we want from him. Another thing that actually happened in the game is Arsenal playing to Gyökeres' strength. You see the way they were playing the ball right where it was supposed to be, just open play. And you see, I was able to deliver with 2 beautiful striker goals yesterday. And yes, all around beautiful performance from Arsenal in the North London derby yesterday.
Okay, that's really fantastic. I can see that you are really smiling. But in any case,
Uh,
let's let's get into the show proper. We start from the home front. There's a whole lot that's been going on with the Eric Chelle saga.
yes.
He has made a whole lot of demand, and we have officials of the NFF saying Super Eagles is too big for a Chelle. Nigeria coach slammed for $130,000 request. Former chairman of the Gombe State Football Association, Ahmed Shuaibu Garagumbe, has warned Nigeria Football Authority against agreeing to what he described as excessive demand from Chelle. The current head coach of the Super Eagles, um, the current head coach of the Super Eagles, report earlier this week claimed that the HL presented 19 conditions that must be met if he is to continue leading the Nigerian national team. The demand reportedly include a significant salary increase from $50,000 to $130,000. The development comes only weeks after Chelle guided Nigeria to a top place finish at the AFCON. The Malian coach has been tasked with reaching the final after Nigeria's runner-up finish at the previous edition. Although the team fell short of the objective, the Super Eagles impressed many observers with an attacking style of football. Nigeria scored 14 goals, the highest total in the tournament, and narrowly missed out on a place in the final after losing on penalties to those. Following the campaign, both Nigeria Federation and the National Sports Commission indicated their willingness to keep HL in charge and even explore a contract extension. However, discussion around improved terms have now created a division among stakeholders. And Garagumbe questions HL impact and ambition. Garagumbe strongly criticized the reported demand, insisting that Nigeria should not feel pressured. Um, Quoting Garagumbe now, I don't think it is okay for this man to come to Nigeria to boost his CV. I said it before that Super Eagles is too big for HL. The Super Eagles raised the HL to the global stage, not him raising the team. And he now wants to blackmail us. With the players Nigeria have, we are even the ones to ask a coach like HL to pay us privileged fees. I mean, what do you make of this? The former state FA chairman, Shuaru Garagumbe, has come out to lambast Eritel, saying that Eritel is trying to blackmail Nigeria into paying me $130,000. And if you look at the demand, how does the national team coach demand projector? Is demanding for projector to be in the, in the in his office for him to be able to do match analysis. He's asking for stable Wi-Fi. He's asking for flight, and the $130,000 that we're talking about includes the money that will be paid to his assistants and technical crew. So why what is the big deal in what he's asking, and why is Garab be going after HL? What do you make of this? I mean, practically he has said he didn't contribute anything. It's the players that did it. HL was useless.
So we need to go back to the qualifiers of the World Cup and see the performance of the Super Eagles prior to Chelle's appointment, right? The performance of the Super Eagles was nothing to write home about. We win one, we draw one, we did not have an identity with our style of play. We did not. But Eric Chelle came in and check Eric Chelle's record. He has not lost a single match in 90 minutes for the Super Eagles. Check his record. The only matches that we have lost went to penalties. The one against
DR
um,
Congo.
DR Congo and the one against Morocco. You do not see him lose a match in 90 minutes for the Super Eagles. And look at the Super Eagles at the AFCON. From the second match of the AFCON tournament till we came, we came toward in that tournament, we had an identity. We had a style of play. People, even Nigerians, now felt even much more connected to the team because we played beautifully well in that tournament, right? And if you look at Eric Chelsea's demand, there is not one thing that he has demanded for that is out of place. Not one thing that he has demanded for that is out of place. How can he, why should he even be demanding for a furnished office with projector? In a same country, shouldn't those things be the norm? What exactly is he supposed to use to do with? What was he supposed to use to do with his with analysis with? What is he supposed to use to do analysis?
Maybe we use
In a same
chalkboard.
country,
Maybe we use
yeah,
chalkboard.
exactly. In a same country that is, in a same country that knows the importance of football, and with what the Super Eagles have shown in the AFCON tournament, you want to increase the level of the country, right? You want to increase the level of the team, and you also want to increase the level of the coach. If he can get us to the third position with what he had, right, or what he has at the moment. Now, imagine what he can do if you give him much more resources. Imagine what he can do if he has much more resources. By the way, the $130,000 salary is not just for him. It includes his technical staff and PA. Even if it is just for him, I'll give you a rundown quickly. In Africa, Vladimir Petrovic of Algeria is the coach that is paid the highest. He's paid $145,000. Vladimir Petrovic of Algeria. The next coach that is second to him is Ugo Bruce of South Africa, who is paid $75,000. Please, what achievement has Ugo Bruce brought to South Africa apart from taking them to the World Cup? On the
That's true.
on the African continent, apart from Morocco and Senegal, which other team can speak to the Super Eagles at the moment? Which other team can speak to the Super Eagles national team at the moment? In fact, the reason why Morocco and Senegal can even speak to them is because of obvious reasons. The Super Eagles failed to qualify for the finals and win the tournament. That is the only reason why they can speak to the Super Eagles. But in terms of quality, in terms of the players that we have, and in terms of how Eric Chelle is able to manage this quality, because it is not just about the quality. We had this quality before Eric Chelle took over, and we failed to deliver.
True.
We failed to deliver.
Very
But
true.
when Eric Chelle came in, you can see what he brought to the team. Again, as I said, we had an identity, we had a style of play. People felt much more connected. Even everyone, tipped the Super Eagles to go all the way to win the tournament, right? And what exactly is in this demand? This man has demanded that, he should have proper equipment. He has demanded that provision should be made for traveling, for him to be able to watch the Super Eagles player. Come on, we saw Thomas Tuchel in the match of Arsenal Tottenham.
True.
Thomas Tuchel was right there,
True.
watching Iberechi Eze dazzle and display beautifully well. These are things that top coaches all over the world, these are things that they do because you want to be able to, to scout players. You want to be able to have the opportunity to scout new players into the team, see the quality that they bring onto the pitch. And I do not exactly see anything wrong with the services or with the what's it called now, with the demands that Eric Chelle has made. Is he saying that salary should be paid on or before 30th? That is zero. That is a terrible demand. Again, as I said, even the $130,000 that is asking for, what is terrible about $130,000? Top coaches all over the world are paid in millions. Ancelotti, Carlo Ancelotti is the highest paid coach in the world, and he's paid almost £9 million, followed by Thomas Tuchel, then Pochettino, Nagelsmann, and the likes, paid in millions. And these are countries where the quality of football, Nigeria cannot speak to them. In terms of the quality of football, in
That's
terms
very
of the
true.
technology that they make use of, and then you have a coach who is even demanding that you make the technology available. Can you imagine? A coach is readily available and is asking that these things have to be available. Imagine, just a quick one. He's saying that he needs a house with 24 hours electricity. If not that we are a mediocre society, if not that we do not have a working society, is this demand? Is it supposed to be a thing? No, is this demand? Is it supposed to be a thing? Is this not supposed to be a norm? He's supposed to even come and make it available.
Available.
He's supposed to make it readily available. Why is he asking that working contracts should be made available for his staff? If not that he knows that the type of people he's dealing with, they won't make those things available. Can you
They,
imagine? It's
they,
an
they,
insult.
they will not. I mean,
It's
it's
an
just,
insult.
I
Yes,
mean, how does an employee tell his employer they should pay him
employer.
before on the 30th as a demand? How is that supposed to be a demand? Is it not a given?
It's an insult to Nigeria as a whole. It's an insult,
Uh,
right?
uh,
And it's an eyesore, right? That these things are even on the demand. No, there's nothing here that he has asked for that same countries do not make readily available. They prepare these things for whoever that is coming to take charge because they know how well these things are needed. A quick one before we wrap this up. After I learned that after Germany's 2006 World Cup, they had institutions in Germany that catered to the grassroots football, bringing in players, and that's where the likes of Ozil came out from, right? Players that they were building a long-term thing. And look at, guess what? In 2014, they won the World Cup because they had the foresight, they had the technology in place. Nigerians were still struggling, with getting up. We have Lookman, we have Osimhen, we have Iwobi. Look at the quality of players that we have, delivering day in, day out, week in, week out in their club sides, right? And we are still making a mediocre of our team by making this a subject of discussion. This is not supposed to be up for discussion at all. It's not supposed to be up for discussion at all. And I believe that whatever the state chairman has said, Tribe, I do not at all agree with what he has said. Eric Chelle has done no wrong in demanding for this thing. In fact, it is a wake up call to us. We need to look inward and see how we can make our football better for the national team. Thank you.
I mean, the annoying part is this. So this is how NFF chairman is elected. Um, various state FAs, various state FAs chairman, most of them put forward themselves to be elected. The same person that is slamming the elector right now is the former state FA of Gombe, and is a stakeholder, and is a stakeholder in electing the next NFF president, and is coming out to say our coach does not know what he's doing. You see the kind of people we elect into
And we
um,
know
position of power to control our football. I mean, it's just so sad and so unfortunate um, that we found ourselves in this situation. But in any case, we will not dwell much on this, because I mean, if we dwell more on this, you are going to have a whole lot of people. I myself personally, if I'm on other shows, I don't speak about Nigerian football because it raises my blood pressure, and that's just the honest truth. How does a sane person say that Eric Che has not contributed anything and is trying to blackmail, the FA? It does not make any sense to me. How does
it's very
requesting for
premature.
24 hours power supply? How does requesting for a projector makes him a blackmailer? I do not understand. But in any case, we move ahead. There are reports about Victor Osimhen responding to reports about Barcelona, Atletico Madrid interest in him. I mean, Victor Osimhen has lit up the Turkish league, and is one of the top strikers there. And Super Eagles and Galatasaray striker Victor Osimhen has sent out a message to Atletico Madrid and Barcelona, as both sides look to go all out for the Nigerian during the summer transfer. This comes after the 27-year-old acknowledged he's one of the top three strikers in the world. Well, a lot of people might doubt that. While it might look like a bluff, the ex-Napoli man does have numbers to back it up. Osimhen has scored 52 goals and provided 10 assists in 64 games for Galatasaray. That's about 62 goal contribution in 64 games. That's amazing. Um, Also, the former Arsenal forward Henry Thierry has urged Barcelona to break the bank for him. Quoting Henry, Barcelona needs the real number 9, a top-level striker. The French World Cup winner said, "I'm referring to a formidable scorer such as Victor Osimhen, Erling Haaland, or Harry Kane, proven finishers, not prospect." Um, I mean, Real Madrid has registered interest in Osimhen due to Vinicius Junior's contract issue, but it appears all has been resolved since Xabi Alonso left. What do you make of this news of Victor Osimhen calling himself one of the top three strikers in the world? And do you think Osimhen has the quality to play for any of this club? A lot of people might say, including myself, I would say Turkey is the back road of Europe. You are not, if you are playing in Turkey, that means you are not that competitive anymore, and probably you are looking at retiring. However, since the last 18 months he has been in Turkey, he has played 64 games so far. He has scored 52 goals and he has contributed 10 assists, making total involvement of 62 involvement in 64 games. I think that's a class of his own. Do you think Barcelona and Atletico Madrid should break the bank to bring in an Osimhen who is 27 at the moment?
Now, I do not think that Osimhen is wrong in saying what he said. The numbers are there to show for it. How many players in the world right now can deliver as he has for Galatasaray? What he is doing at the moment is top class, right? And now here's the thing: Real Madrid and Barcelona are calling for Victor Osimhen to join their Real Madrid and Barcelona are asking that Victor Osimhen join their team. Is because they know the quality that he brings to the table. They know the quality that he brings to the table. However, I think that it will be quite difficult to get Victor Osimhen to leave Galatasaray. It will be, considering how much he is adored, considering how much he is loved, considering what the Galatasaray fans are going all out to do with Victor Osimhen. It will be difficult to get him to leave sorry about that. It will be
Yeah,
difficult to get him to leave, Galatasaray at the moment. Just recently, he put out an article with the Sports Tribune. You can look that up. Something about his gutter story, and he talked about how that the reason why he went to Galatasaray because he has seen how connected the fans of Napoli are with football, right? He said even grandmothers they come all the way to watch football. And then you see him now again in Galatasaray, the way he's adored. Come on, they even want to have a choreography just to pay tribute to his late mother. Fans don't go all the way like that, and it's going to be easy for him to leave, even if he eventually leaves, which I think would be very, very good for his career, by the way. A move to Barcelona or Real Madrid would be very good for his career. In Barcelona, for instance, the Lewandowski is not punching in the numbers as he normally would, right? And then with Real Madrid, they can easily move Mbappe back to the right or the left so that they have a top striker in person of Victor Osimhen right there. Again, as I said, he is not wrong in saying that he's top three strikers in the world. We can. The numbers are there to speak for themselves. There's Erling Haaland, there's Kylian Mbappe, and of course, the next person that comes to mind is Victor Osimhen. Whether or not he's playing in the Turkish league, it reminds me of the Gyökeres situation, for instance, giving over 90 goals and assists in Sporting, and then he's come to Arsenal right now, and he's currently Arsenal's top striker and top striker and top goal scorer in the English Premier League. There is no team in the world where Victor Osimhen steps in and he will not deliver. It's not possible. He has done it over. He has proved himself in Napoli. He's proving himself currently in Galatasaray. And if he now comes to a team like Real Madrid and Barcelona, where they have the quality players, to just give him the ball, you have the likes of Rafinha and Yamal. He will score goals easily, right? You have people that are able to give you the ball just to score, and Victor Osimhen, he takes his chances as he comes. So yes, he's definitely top striker. There's no doubt about that.
but the question is this. I mean, we saw there's a Vinicius Junior. Hendrick had to leave for Leon because he was not having a lot of playtime. Rodrigo also is not playing regularly at the moment. There is an Mbappe. They are trying to build the team around an Mbappe. There is a Vinicius Junior there. Do you think Osimhen will be able to fit in, owing to the fact that they already have proven strikers, and even before Mbappe came, I was one of those with the opinion that Madrid never needed Mbappe. To be honest, they've won everything. Why do you need an Mbappe? But I mean, Mbappe has come now. He has been able to settle in. He has been scoring goals. Do you think and Osimhen coming to join that clique, don't you think it will be too much for him? Will he be able to lock down his shirt? I hope it will not be a case of he makes the move and sitting down on the bench.
That's a good question. And again, I honestly do not see what is the worrying situation in this because, as I said, if you watch the way Madrid play, they do not play with a top nine striker. Most of the time when Mbappe top strikes, he's playing as a false nine, right? Most times he still falls back into the middle position or even to the left wing and allowing Vinicius Junior to come in from the right. And yes, the thing, right? This is giving a classic Ronaldo and Benzema situation. It's giving a classic Ronaldo and Benzema situation. Did both of them shine while they were in Madrid? Of course they did. Of course they did. Yeah, the way I think that they can set up is a way that allows Victor Osimhen to be a top striker. That's his function. That is where he thrives the most. With Vinicius Junior and Mbappe can be the other two guys at the flank, and then we have the Victor Osimhen right in front of them. And if it's Barcelona, same thing. Rafinha, Lamine Yamal, or Rashford, and we have Victor Osimhen right in front. So I don't think that Vinicius Junior and Mbappe take anything away from the shine of Victor Osimhen. He is a top player as well. He did it in Napoli. If we are questioning whether or not he can come into the Madrid side and lock in. We need to go back to what he did at Napoli, right? Go back to what he did at Napoli. His quality is not in question. His quality is not in question at all. So he has exactly what it takes to be able to come in to that Real Madrid side and lock down that top nine shirt. I personally have no doubt about that whatsoever.
Okay, so I guess we'll be hoping that Osimhen finally makes the move to
I, I,
Barcelona
I,
or
I
the
hope so
Spanish La
too.
Liga. Um,
I hope so too. I hope so too.
well, since we're in the Spanish La Liga, there's a particular Nigerian that is lighting up everywhere. It seems he cannot do no wrong. He scores goals with reckless abandon, and Simeone has come out to say, Ademola Lookman, we need more. Simone tells Ademola Lookman after breaking Luis Suarez record. Atletico Madrid head coach Diego Simeone has called on Ademola Lookman to increase his work rate despite breaking the record, despite scoring goals with reckless abandon. Um, according to a report, Lookman has been a revelation at the Estadio at the Wanda Metropolitano since his 35 million switch from Atlanta in January. On Saturday, the Super Eagles star notched his sixth goal involvement for the club, scoring in a clinical 4-2 victory over Espanyol. It was the strike that highlighted his killer instinct in the box and ensured that he equaled Luis Suarez's 2010 record for the best statistical start to an Atletico career. Um, However, the Argentine tactician isn't fully satisfied. While Simeone praised Ademola Lookman's goal scoring output after the match, he emphasized that he expects more from the 28-year-old in terms of off-the-ball contribution. Simeone is widely regarded as one of the most demanding coaches in the world in football. He requires his team to attack and defend as a disciplined unit, often prioritizing tactical defensive positioning over individual flair. While acknowledging Lookman's impact on the scoreboard, Simeone made it clear that Nigeria must integrate more fully into Atletico defensive setup to help him reach his potential. Quoting Diego Simeone, Lookman brings us goal, honestly, more goals than overall play right now. He's, he can still improve his build-up play and his defensive work. We need him to adapt to the team's philosophy in those aspects. His attitude suggests he wants to improve as a footballer. He has that natural instinct. Those goals are no coincidence, but we also need more from him we also need more from him as a collective in the game. And what do you make of this? I mean, um, Diego Simeone is practically saying, apart from you scoring goals, we also need you to do your defensive duty. In
Yeah.
as much as right now, I mean, if you look at how Diego Simeone has transformed, his team now score goals. Yes, in the last two La Liga games, he has lost. He has not been free flowing like we used to see. But if you look at the overall performance so far this season, um, Diego Simeone's team averaged at least three goals a match, and they did it against Espanyol over the weekend. And Malcolm has come in and he has been able to score four goals and contributed two assists, which makes him equal the record of Luis Suarez. Quickly circling in from Atlanta. What do you make of what Diego Simeone is saying in terms of him not prioritizing only goal scoring, but also ensuring that he's there defensive wise?
Exactly. I believe that we all know the type of philosophy that Diego Simeone has in terms of football, right? And we've talked about it before. Prior to this season, we see that Atletico Madrid are a highly defensive team, and it was just the season now they are going all out to the attack. And you know what? There is nothing wrong in Simeone asking Ademola Lookman to up his game, especially his out of possession play, right? These are things that top coaches all over the world would demand from their players. Quick one. Erling Haaland this season. If you watch the game Manchester City against Newcastle, Erling Haaland came to defend. Erling Haaland is now defending. Erling Haaland was the one who made the assist. So you see that yes, you score goals. Yes, we need you up front, but we also need you to track back as well. Another example, Ebere Eze against Aston Villa, the goal that Matty Cash scored, the first goal that Aston Villa scored, you came from Eze's side, and matches after that, Arteta benched him, and quite a number of Arsenal fans have gone all the way to say that it was because he did not track back for the Matty Cash goal, right? When you are good up front, there's no question about that. But we also need you to be able to track back. We need you, to add to the defensive unit. We need you to add to the defensive unit. We are playing together as a unit now. We're going up front together. We're coming back together. So there is always room for improvement. And the type of player that Ademola Lookman is, beyond being, he seems to have a shy personality. But you see that. on the pitch or on the field of play, he's seeking to improve his game at every point in time. And as I said, top coaches all over the world, this is what they do. They see a good player, but they expect they demand much more from them. They demand much more from them because they know the quality that they bring to the pitch. Ademola Lookman, if you watch his game in the AFCON, for instance, the way he pressed, the way he was pressing the opponent, you know that he has that defensive ability in him. Whenever he was out of possession, he was quick to, you know what, to press and get the ball back. So he has that defensive ability in him, and this is what Diego Simeone is calling out. Yes, we need your punch. We know you are scoring the goals, but up front there's also the like of Griezmann, there's Simeone, there's Solot, players who can also do the damage up front, but we also need you to, you know what, track back and help defend as a unit.
Okay, that's what I said. But I mean, if Simeone is saying this, I hope this will not be an issue because if you look at Ademola Lookman, I mean, I followed Ademola Lookman from his days. I followed Ademola Lookman from his days at Everton. I followed him from his days at his days in Germany. Followed him to his days in Atlanta. Ademola Lookman is not your typical player that comes back to track back, that do much of a tracking back. Yes, he does this, one or two times, maybe when he's very close to the ball and just but you not see him practically running back. You will not see Ademola Lookman as a defender and just don't you think this would be a source of conflict between him and the coach? Remember, I'll take you back to Jose Mourinho era. One of the things he complained about Pogba was Pogba does not track back. And we know that Pogba is not good tracking back. He is always committing foul. He's not that player that can go deep and go and get the ball or break up play. He doesn't have that kind of ability. Don't you think this will be a source of conflict between Ademola Lookman and Diego Simeone as time goes on? Because he's already 28, he has mastered this way. Do you think he'll be able to adapt to the demands of say Diego Simeone?
Of course, I believe you'll be able to adapt. Yes, here's why I think so. Right? Again, as I said, we see what he offers up front. We see what he offers up front. And it is not that he does not have the defensive ability in him. He's just Diego Simeone is doing is to call him higher. Call him higher. Right. Even the top players, especially in matches that they need the most, you see them do defensive duty and you are surprised. There are times when Cristiano Ronaldo has had to do defensive work. Times when Cristiano Ronaldo has had to do defensive work. So what we are saying is, you know what, bro? I enjoy what you are doing up front. I like what you are doing up front. You've delivered. You love it. Matching Luis Suarez record is impressive, is outstanding. Being able to get into that atletical rhythm immediately, it's nothing short of outstanding. But as I said, this is just Diego Simeone asking for much more. And is it going to be a source of conflict? I really do not think so because what Ademola Lookman brings up front is different with the to the Atletico team. Right? He can play from the middle. He can play from the left. His quality overall is just too good. Right? On the ball, you know how he can use both his right, both left. And therefore, in the Champions League, he scored with both. So now this is a player that seems to be able to do everything right. But then he's just asking, bro, I enjoy this, but can you come up a bit higher? Can we see track back a bit? And that's not out of question. That's not out of place. It's not out of place. So I do not think that's a source of conflict. I just believe that Ademola Lookman, as I said, is a player that seeks to, improve his game, his overall game, and I think that he has it in him to be able to do as the coach wants.
Okay.